Go. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I am really excited for today's webinar. Thank you for everyone who's already joined. And as per usual, when we run webinars, we're just going to kick it off right away because I only have 30 minutes with Dan. And if you can imagine, there is no way to pack everything that we want to talk about into 30 minutes about best practices for your service advisors selling with digital vehicle inspections. So without further ado, Dan, could you introduce yourself to the folks that are on the webinar that might not be familiar with you?
Yes, I'm Dan. No, Dan Molloy.
Perfect.
I've been in the industry for about 28 years. At one point, I was a partner in a company called ProCare Automotive. We had up to 129 stores, and that was sold. And then I started my company 22 years ago, and I've worked with dealers all over the country on helping them to grow their businesses. And one area that is really, 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 and I'm thrilled that I met you and that we can collaborate on this because the deferred work and presenting an offer and having a strategy to present an offer to a customer is really mission critical. So much money is left on the table. And that's my passion, is to help people, close up the holes in the bucket, so to speak. And this is a big one. And how to present DVIs. DVIs, I find a lot of times service advisors think that the DVI is going to do the work, and it can't. It's information and data. What's got to do the work, in my opinion, is the service advisor having a strategy and building a relationship with that customer on the inbound call, and then at the counter, and then because by the time you get to the outbound call, or where you're going to share the DVI and the inspection with that customer, you already have to have a rock solid friendship and relationship with them. You just
Yeah.
don't come out of the gate and say and stab them through the heart with a $3,800 estimate. There has to be something else, a relationship. So that's what we're all about. I wrote a book about it too. Hold on, where's my book?
I have your book right here.
Oh,
So
there you go.
yeah, it's sitting on my desk after you gave it to me. So yeah, like Dan said, part of the reason why I'm very excited about this is we philosophically line up in terms of we both understand the importance of DVI, but that and again, everyone on this call probably knows this. DVI is not going to do all of the selling for you. There is so much of the auto repair business that is still done over the phone via personal relationships. So that's really what we're going to talk about today, is how to develop those relationships with your customers, with your clients, so that by the time you're presenting the estimate, you're increasing your close rates, etc. So how we're going to go through today is we're going to talk about appointment setting best practices, vehicle drop-off best practices for selling with the digital inspections, and then best practices for pickup. As you guys know, we're not going to be able to get through every single best practice and everything we want to share in 30 minutes. So stay till the end of the webinar, because we're also going to be sharing how to register for our next webinar in this series, as well as follow-up resources like workbooks, scripts, etc., that you guys can download and access immediately following this webinar. So let's kick it off.
Nice.
Now, in terms of, let's start with booking the appointment. Dan, can you kind of give a brief overview of your philosophy when customer calls in and says, "Can I get my oil change today?" What are you looking for service advisors to accomplish on that first call, that first introduction with the customer?
Well, it's a great question. It's super important. It starts off the whole relationship, and you have to think of it as if you're in show business. Act one in the play, right? And or if you're in a band, then it's time to start the music. And so you have to hit it hard in such a way that it'd be hard and positive, so that it opens possibilities for people. It's like if you go out to listen to music, you go to a live show, and the band comes out and they the first song is rocking. Well, you want to stick around. It's the same basic concept. So it might be, and I offer this to people. If I were answering the phone in say Auto Vitals automotive repair service, right? I would say the phone rings. I say, "Thanks for calling Auto Vitals Auto Service. This is Dan Molloy. How can I help you?" Up the energy, and it's got to be positive. The customer has to think, because as we're speaking, we're making something happen over there with the customers in their body. So they have to wake up a little bit and say, whoa, what's this guy on? I want what he's drinking. You know, they have to think like that. And that's the first thing. Because don't forget, the customer is calling your shop because of why? Why are they calling the shop?
Because they need someone to solve their problem.
They have a problem. So they're like this. Maybe their car's not running right, or they can't get to work, or they can't go on vacation. They have a problem. And so they got the weight of the world on their shoulders right now. And they're calling they're maybe they don't even know you yet, but they're calling you and they're like this with the burden on top of their shoulders. And you have about that much time to have them go, oh, maybe I'm in the right place. Maybe they're not certain yet, but you can do that just with your energy, just like when you play music or you go out to see and they hit the first song and you go, oh, okay, this is going to be good. It's the same basic concept. And the first thing I strongly recommend, and we have tons of evidence for, is the following. We know what the customer is going to do. They're going to ask a question. They're going to make a request. Or they're going to make a statement. I have a problem with blank. How much? Something like that. Or I have a problem. They're going to ask some type of information-based question.
Right.
And in my experience, and having worked with thousands of service advisors and hundreds of dealers, the only thing that makes, and when I was running over 100 stores, the only thing that makes sense to say when the customer shares their question is, yes, I can help you with that. Yes, I can help you with that. Really important. I write about it in the book. By doing that, you're opening the possibility for them, because they don't know 100% for sure if you can help them until you declare it and say, yes, I can help you with that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to help you with it right now. That turns it into a commitment, and that's a game changer. So this is a little piece of advice, a gift, if you will, of the webinar. If they just start saying, yes, I can help you with that to every single request that comes into their stores, if they do that, it's going to start to change the game for them across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I talk to shops all the time and service advisors, they get busy, they get flustered, they've got customers waiting. And it's really important to make sure that you're training and you're working with their staff, that their gut reaction to any time they answer the phone is that they're upbeat, positive, excited to help the customer, and they declare, yes, I can help you with that. They seem very simple, but those things they fall off the table as shops get busier and everyone's got their own personal lives. They might be thinking about something. It's important when they answer the phone, they're ready to help and they have a tone in their voice that
You
you can.
bring up a great point, Lauren. Can I share the cartoon?
Yeah, you should be able to if you hit that share button on
Yeah,
the bottom of the screen.
I had this cartoon done. It echoes your point that you just brought up so well, right? That this is the world that we live in. And I had this commissioned 25 years ago. And Arnie Levin, that did the cartoon, is cartoonist of the year, one of the greatest cartoonists that ever lived. And I said, Arnie, you got to do me a cartoon because I'm in this crazy business. This is when I had that big company. And he came back with this. And I think it fits perfectly because every dealer that's on this in the webinar, their livelihood, the business, the customers, the car count, everything is determined by this person at the counter. And to your point, it's chaotic. I call this the chaos of commerce because he's got to deal with the parts people, got to deal with the technicians. He's got to communicate with he or she, right? To be politically correct. They got to deal with the customers. They have to deal with all the crazy stuff that's going on. So having an approach and being trained in an approach for handling the inbound calls, mission critical.
Yeah.
Absolutely mission critical. Because we can't change the cartoon world, nor do we want to. The crazier it is, there's more action, more money, more money changing hands. But so
Yeah.
yeah, so it's important.
Yeah. Okay. So vehicle comes in, you declare, yes, I can help you with that. Customer comes in, drops off their keys at the front counter. Now, there's a couple things that we want to touch on here. First thing, and Dan, I'm going to pass it to you just a second, is you got to tell them what you're going to do. You have to make a commitment. You have to follow through from that commitment that you made in the appointment setting process. And number two, especially important for this audience, is you need to prepare them for what's coming next. And if you are doing a digital inspection, you need to prepare them that they're going to get a digital inspection. You need to explain to them what that means. And you need to emotionally prepare them really that there might be additional recommendations outside of the oil change or the brake test or whatever they came in for. So Dan, can you talk about how you coach service advisors to nail that vehicle drop-off stage with the commitment process as well as preparing them for what's next, the customer for what's next?
Yeah, we're not going to have enough time for this. I mean, we're
Yeah, I know. We're doing a quick like let's get everyone's
quick,
palate
quick,
wet and then
quick,
we'll
quick,
keep
quick.
rocking.
I think I want to let everybody know also that, well, you're going to tell them later that we have other things follow up. So this is just the beginning. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. You're in a 3-act play. The first act is on the inbound call, and you've got to, yes, I can help you with that. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to do it right now. And there's another key ingredient. It's called a service declaration, which you talked about, Lauren. So yes, I can help you with your oil change today. At the same time, we always do an inspection. If you want, we'll do an inspection of your vehicle and tell you what's going on with it. But I also want you to know that we do brakes and tires, alignments, check engine lights. We do absolutely everything from bumper to bumper, right? And we offer payment plans if you ever want to take advantage of that. So I call it a service declaration. It takes about 10, 15 seconds, but you have to do that. And you have to mention that you have payment plans and that you do the vehicle inspection and other services you do. I can't tell you how many times over the last 28 years that, when you do a good service declaration and the customer goes, "Oh, I didn't know you do all that. Yeah, I want my son needs something on his truck." It happens all the time. Every week, somebody will say, "Oh, yeah, I didn't know you did that." I mean, they may have been coming to you for 10 years and they think you're the oil change company. They don't know that you do all this other stuff. So you have to literally tell them, so yeah, and the other thing about it is the Act 3 is coming. Like you said, you want to point to the future. Act 3 is where the rubber meets the road, and after you do the inspection. So you have to kind of build up to that. You have to declare to them that, yes, I'm going to be your car guy today. I'm going to take care of you. And if you'll have me, I'll be your car guy for the rest of your life. As long as you're in this area, I'm going to take care of you. You let them know that, and you let them know up front that you have payment plans. And then they come in and you give them a service declaration again and let them know, "I'm so thrilled you're here." And you know what I always do also? I give them, if I have time, I give them a pro tour. I call it a pro tour. "Lauren, it's your first day here? First time? You're in here have a brake inspection, an oil change? Come here, walk with me. I'm going to show you around the shop." And I call it a pro tour. It takes 5 minutes and it's a walk and talk. And you walk and you plan it out. So you stop here and you talk about, this is your oil change bays. And you stop over here and you say, this is my alignment area. And this is my $75,000 alignment rack. And then you go over here and you say, this is our diagnostics area. And you say, "Hey, Joey, come over here. I want to introduce you to Lauren. He's a brand new customer, and you're going to diagnose his check engine light for him." So say a lot. And then you start to include them into your world. And this is our recycling area. We're very environmentally conscious here, and this is our brake area. So you walk around, there's about five different places where you stop and you explain what you do. And then when you get a chance, but as you're walking, I'll give you an example. I was doing this out in Oklahoma, not too long ago. And I was teaching the guys how to do this, the pro tour. And a real customer walks in. And he wants one tire. One tire. And I'm listening to the service advisor. And I said, and I know the guy's name's Charlie. And I hear him say it. I said, "Charlie," I said, "first time here, right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Walk with me." And I said, "Frankie, come with me. We're going to do a tour." And as we walked up and down the shop, this was inside. There was a huge shop, so we could walk in the center of I said, Charlie, where do you work? He goes, right down the road here, mile down the road. I said, really? I said, how many employees do you have? He says, well, there's about 200 people in the company. I said, what do you do? He says, I'm the general manager. So all of a sudden, from one tire, the guy has 200 employees, all prospective customers, and he has 20 trucks in the business. Now it's a fleet deal. So it's but using language to uncover. And then when you know all this stuff, when you know all this stuff about the customer, then you can say, look, I'm gonna be your car guy. I'm gonna be your truck guy. You ever need anything for any vehicle, any one of your trucks, I'm gonna help you. As a matter of fact, what I want to do is come down and see you later. Next week, I'll shoot by if you want, and I'll do a visual inspection of all the vehicles I find there and see if I can help you out in any way. What do you think? So you're opening possibilities and becoming their friend and creating relationships. This is Act Two, and we're building up to Act Three.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think a lot of what you shared is very important, but really what stood out to me when we talked earlier, and then you were just rephrasing it again here, is like you either have to do the service declaration over the phone, or if you have the time capacity and your bays are clean and nice, to do it in the shop. Because what that does is it plants the seed in the customer's minds, one, that you can do more work for them, and two, that those recommendations might be coming. If you
Yes,
just they drop off the
100%.
keys and you say, "Yep, we're going to do the oil change and we're going to do your brake inspection," and then you call them on the phone and say, "Hey, we noticed that your serpentine belt is cracked and we want to take care of that for you today." The customer is going to be on the defense because they're like, "I didn't ask you to look at any of that. I just asked you to do two things, and now I have an estimate for over $1,000." Versus if you let them know ahead of time, we're going to do an inspection on your vehicle to check for the vehicle's health and safety. We'll let you know if we find anything. And by the way, here's all the other things that we can take care for you. When they get that DVI, they're going to be prepared and open to looking at it and talking about those additional recommendations with you.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, Lauren. And I go back to the other declaration that I always like to make with an existing customer and also with new customers that my job, I only have one job here today, Lauren. That's to become your car guy. Just like you have a doctor and a dentist and all this, I want you to know that I'm your go-to guy. My job is to keep you on the road, to keep you in the game. If you have a breakdown or a problem, you're going to see my face is going to pop up on the little screen in your car. That'd be scary, right? All of a sudden, this would actually be a good app to have. When the check engine light comes on, your service advisor's face pops up on the screen. But I can't how important it is to create that relationship and to let them know who you are, and to create what I call maybe trust. See, we all want big trust. We all want people to walk in, take out their keys, and toss them and say, "Here you go, Lauren. Here's my keys. Just do whatever has to be done." That's what we want. It takes a while to get there. And so by declaring that you're there, that's the purpose of the whole business. The business, everybody in the business is committed to one thing, keeping them on the road. I call that becoming a commitment-based operation. Because like we talked a minute ago, the customer has a problem. The only thing they're interested in really is a commitment from somebody that's qualified, that's competent to help them. They need that commitment. Way more than they need a price or any other type of information. They need that commitment first, and then in my opinion, everything else comes after that. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's great. Okay, so you've set the appointment. You've given them your shop tour, your tour of services. You've let them know the DVI is coming. Customer leaves the shop because you did a great job and they're not going to sit around and wait for their vehicle in your shop. Okay, customer leaves the shop. The inspection's complete. You call the customer to review the recommendations. You sent them the inspection. Dan, there's a couple things here that we want to talk about. Number one is how to present the good news first and the importance of that.
I love it. Yes.
And then number two, how to use the inspection to support your service advisor's conversation, not replace it. So, can you talk a little bit about the importance of sharing the good news first and how you kind of
Oh, it's
frame that
everything.
selling
It's
conversation?
It's everything. When you call up that customer, whether you get them in the first go around, when you call them, you've done the DVI, you've sent the DVI to them, the Auto Vitals DVI, you sent it to them, right? And now the game begins, and it's Act 3 in the play, and your offer, how you're going to handle this conversation, depends on what you've done on in Act 1 and Act 2. So that's why what we're talking about is it's not trivial. And you don't want to call up and just say, well, look, I got bad news for you. What is that? What is that going to accomplish? See, whenever we're communicating with people, we're either pushing them away or drawing them into our world. So here's my strong recommendation. So I go ring-a-ling-a-ling. Hello, is Lauren there?
Yeah, this is Lauren.
Hey, Lauren, this is Dan, your car guy from over here at XYZ Automotive. Hey, listen, I've got great news for you. Can you talk for a few minutes?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me step out of this meeting.
Boom, right? So it's like always be the good news guy. Just like I'm the I can help you with that guy. Always, 100% of the time, I'm the I can help you with that. And we're a commitment-based operation. When I make a phone call out about your vehicle, I've got great news for you. We figured out what's wrong. It's not a problem. I don't want to stab the guy through the heart with the price. That's not, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So yeah, we want to create that vibe, want to create that mood of that. I've got great news for you. So let's just paint the picture, and I'll take it a little bit deeper. And so let's say that the customer came in for an oil change and a tire rotation, for argument's sake, because they're going on a trip. They want to have the vehicle inspected. And they know they already know, because I did a thorough job when they came in. I showed them around. I told them about the DVI, and they would get it and all that. And I'd say, so after I had that big, I've got great news for you greeting, I said, okay, let me tell you what we're doing. We're doing the oil change, and we did the DVI for you, right? Did you get that, by the way? So
Yep, I
yes,
got it. I'm looking at it right now.
fabulous. So I'm going to go over it with you right now, okay, and see
Great.
if you have any questions. First of all, I just want to tell you the good news. We topped off all the fluids for you because I know you're going on that trip, right? I checked the belts and hoses for you. We checked under the vehicle. There's no leaks of any kind. It's great. We inspected the brakes. We inspected the tires. I made sure your headlights and taillights are all fully functional. And one of my pet peeves, I made sure that your wiper blades aren't streaking, because that would make that always drives me insane. You know, when it starts to rain, all of a sudden the wiper blades. No, anyway, I've got all of that handled for you. At the same time, I want to do some basic maintenance. Here's what I want to do. I want to do front and rear brake maintenance, and I want to do a brake system flush. And let me explain why. So here's the model. First of all, you got good news, and you tell them all the good news about the vehicle, just like I did there a little bit, right? And whatever the good news is for that vehicle, you want to tell them. You know, despite the fact that you have 160,000 miles on the vehicle, if we keep maintaining it like this, it's going to last you a long time. But whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it gets down to where you want to just say a simple model. Can I share my screen again?
Yep. Yeah, go for it.
This is right out of my workbook, which, by the way, everybody, Lauren's going to tell you how you can get a copy of it.
Yeah. And while you're pulling that up, I really, when we started talking about this, doing this webinar in this series, what really stood out to me was the way you say at the same time. Like, here's everything that's good, and not but, however, but it's just
Right,
at the
right.
same
Oh,
time, here's what I also recommend. And that's really, it comes really cleanly in how Auto Vitals recommends you guys do your inspection reports too, is by default, we put everything that's green that's good first, and then red and yellow. So that really follows Dan's sales strategy, and what he coaches at Molloy sales training is tell them the good and then go into not however, but nothing scary, just at the same time, do the things that we want to take care
oh,
for you so your vehicle keeps running. That at the same time language is so important and really stood out to me from your script.
yes. Oh, well, the minute you say but or however, the other shoe is about to drop, and that's when
Right.
they're getting ready to get hit over the head with a baseball bat, you know, and it doesn't have to be like that. At the
Right.
same time, you know, here's what I want to do for you. And here's the model, folks. And I'll show you. This is the workbook. You can download this workbook. It's called Power Sales Training Workbook, and this is on page 34. It's a very extensive workbook about the language of commitment and how to communicate. And this is an introduction to outbound calls, but it includes everything about DVIs. Okay, as we get into it. But here's the model. This is what you got to practice thousands of times. Here's what I want to do for you today. Here's why I want to do it. It's right here. 1, 2, 3. Here's why I want to do it. So you declare what I want to do for you today. I want to do front and rear brakes. I want to do brake system flush. I want to do coolant exchange or whatever. Declare what it is you want to do. Second thing, here's why I want to do it. Provide the evidence. Provide the assertions. This is where the DVO, look at the photographs. Look at the video. Look at whatever you sent them. Look at the measurements. You have it all there. Provide the evidence of why you want to do that, right? And then the call to action. Promise when it's going to be done. I promise you, I will have everything done for you by 5 p.m. So it's what I want to do, why I want to do it. Let's do it. Very simple. And to get a little bit more granular with it, declare how you want to help them, right? Emphasize the reasons why. Okay, and we get into it a little bit. You'll be able to read it here in the workbook. Tell them exactly when you will get it done, and then create a shared commitment, a financial commitment at the back end. So I always like to say, after I tell them what I want to do, why I want to do it, and when it's going to be done, then I always say, look, here's the best news. I can get everything done for you for $100 with one of our payment plans, or $1,650 if you'd like to pay in full. Like that. So giving them options. And this goes right from the beginning, from Act 1 on the inbound call when you let them know you have payment plans.
Right.
In Act 2, when you do the Pro Tour, and again, you tell them, I have money for you. I can fix anything on your vehicle or truck, and I have money for you if you ever need it. You have to say those things, and then just button up, follow the formula. So
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so you get approval to do, let's say you have 5 things that you recommended them to do. They're gonna get a brake replacement done today, and then you, in your yellow category of the inspection, let's just say their tire tread was getting a little low, and you tell them, we're gonna do that for you next visit. All right, so vehicle's done by 5 p.m. You made that commitment. Customer comes in to pick up the vehicle. Now, there's a couple very important things that happen at vehicle pickup that really makes sure that you get the most money out of your digital vehicle inspections, meaning you get the best ROI on them, and of course, from your service advisors. Number one, Dan, what I'm going to pass over to you is you want to make sure you review what was completed and you don't just hand over the keys. Again, you're solidifying that relationship,
right,
reviewing what was done. Second, equally as important, is you want to exit schedule them for any deferred work or other maintenance items that you found that weren't done today. Right? When you go, we talked about this, when you go to the dentist, you never get out of the dentist's office without scheduling your next visit. Like,
right,
even if it's going to be a year away, like for some reason, I have a dentist appointment on my calendar for like 2028, basically. But what that does is it creates a schedule for the maintenance that I need to do. And also, it's okay if the customer, when you get closer, needs to change that appointment. You just give them a call and say, hey, I wanted to remind you we had that appointment scheduled to get your tires replaced this week, Wednesday at 3 p.m. Does that still work for you, or is there a better time this week? So, can you talk about, Dan, what kind of best practices you talk about service advisors at pickup, reviewing maintenance, and then scheduling next
no,
visit?
I think you nailed it. I mean, you have to review. I think the folks I see that do the best job walk out to the car with the customer, shake their hand, review everything, and make sure they send them off with confidence that everything's done right, and let them know that if you need anything, I'm here for you. It's
Right.
always, I'm going to be your car guy. I'm here for you, making commitments to take care of those customers. It's really not that complex, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's show. I know this is a short time, and we could spend a lot of time with this. Let's go over how we can help them. What do you think?
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good. So again, thank you everyone for joining. I know 30 minutes is a very short period of time, but want to be respectful of everyone's holiday schedules and all the vehicles you got to get done for the day. So, what's coming next is we already have a next webinar on the calendar. It's going to be Thursday, January 8th at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. You will get, if you're registered for this webinar and either watching it the recording or watching it live, you will get an email to register for that next webinar that we're doing.
Hey, can
That will
I
be,
want to can I address one thing?
yeah,
I did get a note from Mark Watson. Mark, I love the question, Mark. My recommendation, Mark, would be to come to we have a class on January 8th. Let me go to the right page. You want me to show it on the screen?
yeah, January 8th, right?
January. Oh, you can show it. You go to
I
the
got
website
you. I got you.
and show it. Yeah. So you can go to molloysales.com, molloysales.com, and go to the weekly schedule and then scroll down. These are all classes we have every week. And then scroll down a little bit more and you'll see the monthly class. So this is a brand new class that we're putting together to help everybody with DVIs. And Mark had asked a great question. People seem overwhelmed by the inspection. Theirs average 3,500. And so, yeah, there's ways of dicing that up and saying what's imperative and what's important. Imperative stuff, if I'm your car guy, I got to do it for you today. Important stuff can be done later on, like Lauren is saying, we want to schedule you for things. So I think there's two parts to it, Mark. Imperative and then important, which can be done later.
Yeah.
So
So again, we'll send you the information, or you can just go on the website to register for our next session after the holidays. Additionally, what will be included in the follow-up email is this link to download the workbook that Dan was showing that has not only like tons of, I actually have it printed out on my desk right here. It's 40 pages. So it has a ton of the philosophy behind the language of commitment, what that means for your organization, as well as actual scripts for you to review with your team. You can see here, like there's so much information in here. And again, all for free to review with your team.
yes,
Definitely want to click and download that workbook as well so you can review it ahead of the next training session that we got going for
make
you.
sure to buy my book too at Amazon.
Yeah. And then after that, we will continue to follow up with more and more resources. If you have any questions, like thank you, Mark, for submitting that question. If you have any questions, feel free to reply to that email that we're going to send you. It's going to reply directly to my inbox. And if it's a question for Dan, I'll make sure it gets forwarded over there. But if you have any questions as you start to roll this out in your
I
shop,
have I have one. I have
wait,
one. Are you going to be sending out the recording?
yes, yes. The recording will be included in the follow-up email. So you'll get the
Great.
recording, link to the workbook, link to future webinars, and then you can reply to the email if you have any further questions.
I do want to acknowledge that we went over by 3 minutes.
Yeah, we did go over by 3 minutes, which actually is like
That's
way
my
better
fault.
than
I copped to it. I copped. It's my fault.
you know what? It's way better than I thought we were going to do. So again, everyone, thank you so much for attending. Stay on the lookout for the email. It'll come from Auto Vitals. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to me directly by just replying to that email.
And have a great holiday season, great Christmas and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating.
Yeah, everyone have a very happy holidays. I hope everyone gets a little bit of time off. I know the shops have, that at least I've talked to, have been really busy the past couple weeks. So hopefully get a couple days off.
All right, guys. Peace.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining,
you.
and
Appreciate it.
we'll talk to everyone via email.
All righty. Bye bye now.
Bye.